weren't you born in Los Angeles too?
Yeah. I'm a LA native, West Coast girl. There's very few of those left. Most people are transplants from, New York or the East Coast or wherever.
Right. And
But
did you just always want to pursue entertainment?
you know, I didn't. When I was a child, a lot of people say, they wanted to be an actor from like the time they were a child.
Yeah.
Um, when I was little, I wanted to be an artist.
Okay.
I was always drawing people, things, whatever, art was my thing. Um, and even by the time I got to college, I didn't know if I was going to go theater or art. It's kind of a toss up. But the only reason I actually got into acting was because also when I was in elementary school, they cast me as the leads in the plays because I could remember the lines.
Oh.
That's how I got into acting from the beginning. It's like, okay, yeah, Dorothy's going to be the witch in the Halloween play. Okay, Dorothy's going to be the Empress of Japan in the Japanese play because they knew I would remember all the lines.
Yeah.
It wasn't until high school that I actually really, fell in love with acting and, the theater and plays and stuff like that. Took a while.
Yeah. So were you also around when when anime first started getting dubbed in the mid '80s, or did you not come around until after that?
It was probably the early 90s, late
Okay.
80s, early 90s is when I got involved in that. Just like a little after when Wendy Lee got into it, just a little
Right.
after that. And it wasn't a thing.
Mhm.
It wasn't even called anime yet, really. Our first jobs that we got, me and my husband Tom, they said they were Japanese cartoons.
Yeah.
That's what they tell them. They said, we have these Japanese cartoons and we need actors to dub them into English. Would you be interested? Because I was an actress. I was a stage actress. I did a couple of, commercials, nothing big. But they needed actors.
Hmm.
So I did that. There was nothing. We had no idea what it was going to be. There was no Toonami, no Crunchyroll. There was no anime on TV. Nothing
Right.
except, Speed Racer, right? Uh,
Hmm.
that was it.
So prior to that, were you trying to land film and TV stuff too?
Yeah, since voiceover wasn't really a career path back then. I mean, there obviously were voice actors
Hmm.
doing radio commercials, TV commercials, and the block of Saturday morning cartoons. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't that much, so it wasn't really considered a thing that ooh, I got to do that. I got to pursue that. Um, Although, if I had been given that option earlier on, I probably would have pursued it. But yeah, I was a stage actress. I did, musicals in high school and college, and even afterwards, I did shows like all over. Um, and the goal back then was TV and film.
Right. Yeah.
Anything in TV and film, episodic, commercials, whatever. I did extra work. Just all that. We were hoping that that would be a stepping stone to bigger and better on camera. But nowadays, I'm glad. I don't even want to be on camera. I don't want to deal with that mishigas anymore. You got to be there at 6 a.m. You got to be in hair and makeup and just forget about it. No,
Right.
voiceover, way better. You can just concentrate on acting and not on how you look.
Right.
It's perfect. I mean, fuzzhead over here, forget it. Can't be on camera.
So prior to getting into anime too, did you and your husband already know people like, I don't know, like Lara Cody and Cam Clark and
No, we didn't know
nobody?
anybody
Okay.
until we got accidentally brought into the anime fold.
Okay.
Um, like I mentioned Wendy Lee before, she's one of the first people that we met.
Mhm.
Um, and Bob Pappenbrook, who's Bryce Pappenbrook's dad, who is,
Right.
no longer with us. But and Doug Stone were the first people that we met. These are like, way back during like Power Rangers when we came in to do like additional voices, and Tom got to do, you know, Monster of the Week on Power Rangers. So that was pretty fun. You know, we got to work together in Walla groups. We don't really do that much anymore. Now it's like you go in for your session and then, okay, now we need you to like do these Walla loops also by yourself.
Right.
Not as fun.
I was just curious too, because I asked Wendy, and Wendy knew her pretty well. Did you know Lisa Michelson?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
We didn't know anybody. We didn't know anybody in VO. That was like not even in our wheelhouse at the time.
Okay.
Interestingly though, Tom was working for a film company at the time, and the guy that he worked with, who was like their manager, whatever, is the one who brought us in, who said, hey, I got this project, these Japanese cartoons, would you be interested? And he said, Tom, your wife's an actress too, we'll need her, and anybody in your family actors, yeah, we'll get them too. And Steve, the guy that works with you, you're an actor too, right? Aren't you? I hear you doing voices. That was Steve Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you never know. So he knew Steve Bloom before he was Steve Bloom.
Right. And wasn't the first thing that you guys did, was it Orgus?
Orgus is the first one that I really remember.
Yeah.
That was a great show. I played Shia, who was basically the mom role, which I play a lot of, the mom or the teacher or the gal in charge roles. I don't know if what did he say? We did Macross too, and we did this show called Honeybee Hutch, which is like way like, you know, ancient history here we're talking. But yeah, Orgus is like one of the first big ones. And we had no idea. We just thought, oh, this is like a one-shot thing. We're going to do this little Japanese cartoon. But once we did that one cartoon, they're like, oh, we're getting a couple more. We're getting some more. Are you still going to do it? Yeah, sure. So then it started snowballing. It just became more and more and more and more. And suddenly, like, that's all we're doing. You know, I'm still trying to do stage, but it just became like all anime all the time. And eventually, we got some games too, but it was crazy how all of a sudden this flood of anime just started being this huge thing. It was great. Right. It was fun.
And I know around that same time, I think it would have been stuff like They Were 11 and Outlanders and...
Outlanders I was on, yeah. I played a character called Momo, I think, on Outlanders. Little weird-looking character. Oh my God, that's going way back.
And is Melendrez, is that your maiden name?
It is not. There was a whole thing with the union back then because everybody was SAG, and you didn't want to get fined because if you worked a non-SAG job and you were caught, you get fined like a couple $1,000s, and who's got that laying around, right? So everybody changed their last names, so I didn't want my maiden name, which is Elias or Elias, if you're being all Hispanic. But Melendrez was a family name, so I thought I'll use that because it's actually one of my family names, and nobody will rat me out to the union, hopefully. Now there's this thing called FICOR that a lot of us have done with SAG, where you cut yourself off from voting rights, and you can't be involved in they have like a film academy where you can go watch movies. So I can't vote and I can't watch the movies, but I can still be like half in SAG, and I can also do non-union. For me, that was the best thing. I needed that trade-off in order to work, right? Right. You got to work.
Yeah. And I think too, would your first major role would have been in Gundam 0083?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would your first major role would have been in Gundam Stardust Memory as Nina?
Oh, maybe.
I think yeah.
That was Nina Purpleton. Yeah, was a big role. It's so interesting because I played Maribit in Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. A few years ago, and she when I got that part, I'm like, she looks related to Nina Purpleton. Same kind of, suited up lady with a short blonde thing. I'm just like, I'm being typecast. But yeah, that was I guess that was one of my first big roles. I mean, Shia was a big role, but yeah.
And for me too, I think the first anime VHS I ever owned was Ray Earth, and I know that you were the bad girl, like Nova on the
Nova, yeah, with the pink hair. Oh my God, yeah. Oh yeah, Magic Knight Ray Earth. That was great. I love that character. I love her look. I love her attitude. It's great. It's great to play, kind of evilish characters. I don't get to do that very often.
Right. And probably my favorite role of yours that is, I'm guessing that she's the most like you, is Kaoru.
Okay, yes, I love Kaoru. I love Kaoru. Loved working on Rurouni Kenshin. Richard Cancino is a doll. Lex Lang. I mean, everybody was in that. And back in those days, the place that we recorded, but we had little like get-togethers, I think, at the end of seasons. So we got to hang out and, whatever. They don't do that much anymore. Once in a while, a series will end and they'll have like, at the end of the entire series, they'll have like a get-together at a bar or whatever. But we actually got together a lot, and it was really, really fun. And we had so many seasons. It was, you wanted it to go on forever.
Right.
So, that was glorious. It was the kind of thing I wished we had for Trigun, because I loved playing Meryl, and I loved Trigun so much. And it was like one season. And I never saw anybody, because it was like your typical anime experience where you go in, record your lines, and you're out. And then I don't remember there being any kind of get together when the season was done. And in fact, I didn't even meet Johnny Young Bosch until years later. Years. I knew him from his voice, from, Vash the Stampede. That's how I knew him.
Right.
That's Johnny. Then I met him in real life. You're Johnny. Hey, Meryl.
That's interesting. That's the first time I heard about like big cast get-togethers for Kenshin.
Yeah, I remember it was just really fun. It was fun. Yeah, not a lot, but but enough so that we seemed to form a bond, like all the characters from that show. And nowadays, I don't know if they do that. I mean, in a way, it's a different type of getting together, because a lot of the voiceover actors now, the newer ones, the hot voiceover actors for like the last 10 years, they came up through being fans and being gamers and being all that. And I think a lot of them bonded over that. So they have that. We didn't. We were just actors. We didn't know anime from anything. We didn't, play games necessarily. I'm the worst. I would love to be able to play games, but I suck at it. So it's not fun for me. So I record games, but I don't really play them. I just went off on a tangent.
Well, one of
Sorry about that.
the like funniest outtakes I remember for it's from Kenshin. It's you.
Yes.
It's you doing a next episode thing, and then you say the Amakakeru Hirameki thing correctly.
Oh,
and then you're like screaming like, yes, I did it.
It took me so long to get that stupid thing. Oh my God, how many syllables is this?
Right.
I would get the first part right, and then I'd stumble, and then I'd get the first part wrong and get the end. I must have had 25 takes, at least 25 takes of that stupid thing before I got it right. Oh my God, Amakakeru Hirameki. I'll never forget it now.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a scream. It's like, okay, I'm gonna crawl out of the booth now, guys.
Yeah.
That was a fun show.
Yeah. And I know I asked Wendy about what Richard Cancino is doing now, but is Mari Devon still working?
I don't know. I don't know. I assume that she is,
Okay.
but she I mean, I don't see her ever on the lists for the shows that I've worked on or whatever.
Oh,
But
okay.
there's so many games out there. She could be working in games now, or she could be working in just like promos for
Mhm.
TV or commercials or something. Sometimes people do that. They just move on and then, you don't see them again in the anime world.
Right.
So I would assume she's got a great voice. I hope
Yeah.
she's still doing VO.
Well, because another one of my single favorite animes that I think it probably was the first thing that made me uh, instill those voices in my head was Nightwalker.
Oh, you froze.
Oh, it
You
was.
froze on.
Uh, did you get the rest of that? Did you just get this? Or did you just
I
not
did
get this?
not. You froze. You
Okay.
froze.
I was just saying that one of my single favorite series that I think was the first series that made me and start instilling voices and remembering them was Nightwalker, and you
Oh,
were
okay. Yeah.
yeah, and I just thought your role as Riho and that was. Do you remember that?
I do not. Nightwalker. Nightwalker.
You were the main girl. She turned into a vampire.
I was? I'm gonna have to look this up. Okay, here's part of the problem. When you've been doing this as long as I've been doing it, and when you've done as many things as I have done,
Yeah.
some of them just get forgotten. They just fall out of the brain for whatever reason. Um, I don't know. I don't remember. I would have to look it up. I think if I saw her, I might remember, although
Okay.
I might not.
Okay. Well, not
It's
now.
and you go to IMDb and you see this list of credits, and that's not even it.
Right.
They miss a lot on there. So there's stuff out there that I've done that I just haven't even thought about in 20 years.
Mhm. Right. Well, and for me too, I think that was especially interesting with your role because it's, by the end she gets evil, and I know that's not something that I hear very much of with you in anime.
I know. It's fun though.
Right.
Um, yeah, every now and then I get the chance to choose some scenery as an evil character, but
Hmm.
not very often.
And yeah, see, around that same time, I don't think it was like a big part, but you were in the Ghost in the Shell movie.
Yeah, I had little parts in that. I was glad to be a part of it. See, that's the thing. From the very beginning to like even now, I really don't care. Big part, little part, bit
Hmm.
swallow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I enjoy the work. I love it all. It's fantastic. It's the best job in the world,
Right.
I think.
And I know this was from the new dub, but I can also just ask you what your experience was with Sailor Moon.
um, wow. Okay. I got to do Cyprian and Patillo, and they were really cute looking, but they were like mean, evilish characters, and I enjoyed doing them. Every job is a good job, right? But I felt like I was under a time crunch
Mm,
for us to like find the characters and their voices and whatever. So I felt like okay, but we just got to make the decisions right now and
yeah.
do it. So I'm not thrilled with how they came out. I was glad that I got to do them, but if I had a chance to go back, I might make different decisions with
Mm,
those two. Oh, also I got to play. Oh wait, what was it? Was that in Sailor Moon? Um, On and Aiel, I think they
right.
were.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. I got to play. I guess it was On, and she pretends to be a human, but she's really an alien.
Yep.
That to me was more fun. I got to get a handle on both characters, both sides of that character, and that was really fun. In fact, I should get a copy of that. I don't have that. I don't have a lot of them.
Okay.
I have some Rurouni Kenshins and a
Yeah.
few other ones. El Hazard, some old stuff. Yeah, I have some.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too, because I know in the original Japanese dub and Sailor Moon, Cipra and Petteral are voiced by two different people. But
Yeah.
yeah, was that like hard for you?
Um, uh, no, I mean, it wasn't hard. It's, I mean, you just pick a voice for
Mhm.
each one. I mean, they're basically the same character. They're both the same evilness. They look exactly alike.
Right.
So you just make a slight difference. If they're supposed to be twins, I guess they're twins. Twins usually sound the same. So you just try and make a little slight difference. Um, yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't difficult. I just wish I, had more time to really figure out what I wanted to do.
Mhm. Is that usually the case with anime dubs with you specific? Or well, I was gonna ask if do you always have to base it off the Japanese? Is that what you're told?
99% of the time, yes.
Yeah.
There's a small portion of the time where they have an idea of a slightly different way they want to go, or they have no idea, but they don't want to do it like the Japanese. But 99% of the time, yeah, they cast you because they think you can voice and do the character that's as similar to the Japanese as possible.
Mhm.
So you just get used to that, which is, why I play a lot of moms and teachers.
Right.
You get voice typecast. I've done other things, but mostly that.
And how long did it take you for just I'm just curious how long it took you if you're to become a fan of anime outside of working in it? Or do you not really watch it?
Um, See, I watch it so much when I'm doing it that I don't really watch it outside. Outside, I watch other things.
Right.
I'm like heavily into like anything Star Wars, as you can tell. There's
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge behind me. Star Trek. I have so much other things going on that I don't have time. I just don't have time for that.
Mhm.
I don't have time. I mean, my brother-in-law texts me, "Oh, you gotta watch this show. It's really great." Okay, when? I don't have time.
Right.
I can't do
I,
it.
uh, I know this was another main role for you that was something I watched a lot growing up was Vampire Princess Miyu.
Yes. Oh my God. That Vampire Princess Miyu was probably the hardest role I ever had to play.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, because I felt like I couldn't act in it.
Oh,
Um, First of all, I came from the stage, but I also knew like on camera acting is smaller. Um, Anime and animation is slightly different. Yeah, you do need to be expressive only with your voice, but depending on the genre that you're doing, sometimes it's bigger, sometimes
mm,
it's more realistic. Miyu in Vampire Princess Miyu, I was told, she's a vampire, which means she's actually dead. So we want you to take the emotion out of your voice. But I need to act, don't I? I need to
mm,
act, right? So I would do a take, thinking to myself, okay, this is pretty low emotion. And they'd say, okay, that was great. Let's do it one more time, but bring it down. Okay, so we do another take. That was great. Just bring it down a little bit more. I It was like pulling teeth. It was excruciating to me to have to bring my acting down so much for that
mm,
role. I have that here too. I have a vampire princess. But here's the other thing too. I mean, some actors don't like to watch themselves in movies. I'm not crazy about watching my stuff and hearing my voice.
oh,
I mean, I'm kind of over it now. In the beginning, you're like, oh, I don't want to hear myself. But I'm like, I don't know. That's a
yeah.
tough one. But Miyu, I love her, love the show, but it was really challenging, the most challenging.
Well, to I know like by the end of the show when it's revealed that her best friend is actually a demon, and then like she has to kill her, and I guess do you if you can remember that? I know that's kind of when her character becomes more regularly emotional.
Yeah, I mean, it would take that. It would
Yeah.
take that extreme to get any kind of real emotion out of her, which, is like, yay, yes, I have some emotion here. I can actually act.
Right.
No, yeah,
So
that's
so do you think that you're more like Kaudu or you're more like Meryl in comparison?
um Well, I mean, I think I'm more like both of them, but Meryl, I would say more only because she's uh, slightly more modern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, Kaoru, that takes place way back.
Hmm.
But she is one that I relate to, but Meryl even more because she's more modern and and I've said this before. I think she's the character who's most like me of all the
Okay.
characters that I've played. Yeah.
And
And I
there's
like donuts.
and there's so much emotion in Trigun too, especially like a lot of things that she goes through, and I mean that like everyone goes through, but was that kind of any different for you, or was that kind of something that you're used to doing now?
No, I mean, it was, as an actor, it was great because her character just went through and reacted in a similar way to how I would maybe. I mean,
Oh,
she
yeah.
was determined, but yet she was goofy, and she was badass sometimes and just completely wacky. Yeah, I guess it was that. Just her
Hmm.
qualities. I related to her qualities.
Yeah. And I think this is like probably a year or so later, but do you remember much about voicing the main character in Persona 2, the video game?
You know, I don't. It was a
Okay.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Now wait. Uh, oh God, what was her name?
I think it was
Maya? No,
Yeah, Mayu.
it was Maya. Okay. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay.
And part of the reason I don't remember a lot of the games that I did years ago
Yeah.
is because it's not the same as with anime, where you're a character in a story and you're having dialogues and situations with other characters. When you're in a game, when you record a game, you go in by yourself and you record your lines not to picture. You don't know what anyone else looks like unless they show you their pictures.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get a screen, you have a screen full of your lines, and they basically direct you for each line. They tell you what your character's like, what they're about. They give you a sound ref, so you know where you need to go vocally, and it's kind of disjointed
Hmm.
a lot of the time. So there's not a lot to grab onto years later. What was that? I don't even know.
Right.
I can't remember because I didn't interact with any other characters. I had nothing visual on the screen but my lines. So that was tough. Unless the game becomes like really, really popular.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I mean? Like Fire Emblem.
Right.
Then I remember. Or Danganronpa, something like that. Then I remember.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna add to that. You were in the Xenosaga games, and those were relatively popular too. If you, unless you don't, do you remember working on those?
I do remember working on them. Don't remember the details.
Okay.
I don't remember the details.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's
They
okay.
fly out of my brain because I'm on to the next thing. Okay, I did that. That's great. Yay, I love that. Now we're working on this. Okay.
Right.
The focus just goes to the next thing.
What about this going back to anime? Do you remember much about being in the Sakura Wars movies?
I remember being in them. I don't remember my character. Um, I was not a lead in Soccer Wars. Am I right?
Well,
That's the other thing.
it's like it's like a troop of girls, and you were one of
Yeah.
the main girls. Yeah.
Yeah, but like here's the other thing. There were several shows that I worked on that seemed kind of similar to me.
Yeah.
So
Right.
so they get a little mixed up in my brain, in my overtaxed brain.
Hmm.
So I can't make sense of it all, especially if you go back too far. If it's too far back, I'm just I don't know. I mean, the first ones stick out because they were the first ones. But
Yeah.
after a period of time, when it started to being like anime, this, some of them just get lost in the shuffle,
Right.
you know.
Well, so I know at that same time too. I mean, you played tons of characters in Digimon.
Yeah.
I can imagine
I
that was
was
just super
really
fun.
lucky that was great. And I got to be in, I think, every iteration of Digimon, you know, like all of them, and the Tri movies, except for Last Kazuna. I wasn't in that one, but I was either Ty's mom, or Lilymon, or Rosemon, or Lalamon, or Lilamon, or Sunflamon, or was I Babamon or Gigimon? I was one of those two. Just yeah. So what a fun thing to have characters that you get to be like in most of them. Like Ty's mom, hilarious, loved her. Lilymon, loved her. But then to be able to do these little side characters now and then, that was really fun too. I love that. And I was also happy that I got to, you know, Digivolve from Lilymon to Rosemon.
Right.
Because most people didn't do their own Digivolve. They started as them, and then Digivolve 2, and other actor voice comes in. I get to do both. That was nice.
And we're doing all those voices just really natural for you too, or was that kind of difficult sometimes for that show?
No, they were great. They were all very natural, even, you know, from Lilymon and Rosemon and Ty's mom and whoever else I did. But the only, and in Babamon and Gigimon, I was like this. I love you so much. But the one that killed me was Harpymon. I've mentioned this like once or twice too before. There was an episode where there was a character whose name was Harpymon, and it was like a big flying giant pterodactyl looking monster thing. And they asked me if I could do like a yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah.
After 2 hours of that, because the character doesn't speak, it only caws. 2 hours of that, and I lost my voice for a week.
Oh wow, yeah.
A week. So yeah, that's the one that was trouble. Luckily, it was the week before Christmas, and we were going away anyway, so I didn't have any work lined up after that.
Oh,
I
okay.
would talk like this, just talking like this.
Has anime made you lose your voice very often?
That one time, and one other time I was working on a game, and I was a monster. I was supposed to do 2 parts, this monster role and another part. And we started with the monster role, and halfway through, I lost my voice. Halfway through. So I'm like, okay, forget it. And, you know, through the years, the screaming and the everything in games, I mean, you try to do it correctly so that you don't hurt yourself, but I think I've fried my voice. I have fried it. I think I've lost something on the top end, but so now I can't do those screams.
Yeah, right.
You know, I'll say, you know, here's the scream I can give you, and I'll do that. So I'll take the stunt screamer over here, please. Thank you.
What was your this is going ahead a little bit, just took like a few years, but what's your thoughts on your role in Lucky Star?
I had a couple of roles in that, I think. Didn't I?
Yeah. One of the main girls, and then
yeah,
like a additional, like a video game thing.
That was really fun. That was really fun, and I also got to work with who else was in that show? Who else was in that with me?
Michelle Ruff, Wendy Lee.
They were the classics.
Yeah.
Wendy Lee, she's like the goddess, and Michelle Ruff, also a goddess, who I never get to work with anymore.
Oh.
You know, well, and the thing is, I think she in Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Because I played Asuna's mom in the first season of that show. And I was just like, this is a great show. This is really cool, especially by the end of my character's little arc. But she never came back. And I'm so bummed I didn't get to be in that show anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fun. Fun people.
Mm-hmm. Are you very close with Brienne at all?
You know, we were years ago. We even recorded together in an anime. Shoot, what was it? We played Rei and Sen in some anime, and they had us both in the booth at the same time, which you never have
happened.
in anime, ever. Only in original animation. And we played off each other, and we were totally crazy, and that was really fun. But I don't know if she does only SAG work anymore, but I don't see her anymore. I haven't seen her around for years. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but she's great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because in my opinion, I think out of all the anime women who primarily do boy voices, I think that she always stands out to me the most.
Absolutely. Yeah. She was my role model for that. Because I in the beginning, I didn't do boy voices.
Right.
I didn't do them. I didn't think I could do them. But somewhere along the line, this director, Kevin Seymour, who is no longer with us, he said, I want you to do the boy voice in this movie, an anime movie. And I said, but I don't do boy voices. Brienne does them. Debbie Derryberry does. I don't do them. But he, and God bless him, thank you. He said, I can tell by the sound of your voice you can do them. I know you can. I want you to do this part, and I'll help you through it. So he did, and I did the part. I didn't feel like I did that great at the boy voice sound, but it got me interested, and then I started pursuing that and finding that, and so now I've done a lot of boy voices too.
Yep.
Which is great because I never would have pursued that on my own.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And then another like pretty diverse role for you is Conan. That's pretty.
I love Conan. Yeah, that again was not my usual thing, but I had a small part in Naruto. I played Mabui, and I think I did maybe one or two other little bits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But Mary Elizabeth McGlynn was directing, and she had me come in to record Conan, and I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, you want me to do this? And she's like, you can do this. I want you to do this. I know you can do this. So even though it was something I had never really done, a character like that, very serious and very down here, we found that, and I'm so happy because now it's one of my favorite roles. Right. I love Conan. I was so bummed when she bit the dust.
I know.
I mean, I hope that's not a spoiler. She eventually bites the dust.
Yeah.
But she got to come back for the games, though, so that was good.
Right. And you were also a few characters in Bleach.
Yeah, a few little characters. That was fun. It was fun to work. Sometimes it's fun to work on a show where you're not the lead or one of the little group of leads. It's fun to just go in and do little what they call bits and walla, a small part who has maybe 10 lines.
Right.
And then the people in the background who are just laughing and chatting and doing whatever or screaming. No more screaming. That's fun too. Yeah.
And speaking of group stuff, do you still actively work in like ADR for movies and TV shows too?
Yeah, I often do. During the pandemic, I haven't as much, but yeah, live action is. It's in a way, it's more difficult because you have to be more spot on because people don't just go, their mouths make different shapes. Right. And so, you got to try and make sure that the line is actually going to work. If someone is speaking Russian and you're dubbing it into English, sometimes they have to really weave around rewriting that line so it fits and looks natural. But yeah, I enjoy that challenge. I really like dubbing live action. It's pretty fun.
Are you pretty, do you think that you're pretty good at doing accents too?
Yes. I mean, there are people out there who specialize in that and who teach that. But I can get by. I can get by with certain accents. I do a lot of bad British, I will say that. Or terrible Russian.
Well, because going back to Sakura Wars, the character that you play, she has a Chinese accent. So I thought that was kind of cool to hear.
Yeah, okay. And I will say I do a Chinese accent, but it's no longer PC.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nowadays it's okay, yeah, I do that and I have done that, but probably not so much anymore because
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a bunch of different accents.
So do you think that you're with your characters in Danganronpa, do you think that you're like any of them too?
No, not really. Um, I mean, Sayaka of all of them, I would say possibly, only because she's a pop star, and I
Yeah.
have sung on occasion. But definitely not Samugi. She's problematic. I love her. Loved playing her. Oh my God, did I love playing her. And
Yeah.
Chihiro, well, I'm a girl, so but that was great too. Finding the voice for Chihiro to like try and not cross the line over too much, too girly and not too boyish.
Right.
That was great. I enjoy a challenge like that.
Yeah, it's cool. Because since so many of the like main anime people are in the Danganronpa games too, it's so cool to hear there's such a big variety with the characters and
Yeah,
yeah, it's fun to hear.
it was very fun.
What about your characters in Fire Emblem? Do you think that you're anything like Mercedes or Renea? I think that's yeah.
Um, well, Renee is very sweet.
Mhm.
She's a sweet girl, and I'm like way too old to be a sweet girl. But yes, no, I do relate to her, but more with Mercedes only because I spent more time with Mercedes.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and so yeah, that's the other thing. Sometimes you have a part that might even be considered a lead or a semi-lead, but you really don't record that much.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
because often there'll be games that don't have very much dialogue in them, but when I did Mercedes, she has all kinds of lines. She was like a fully fleshed out character,
yeah.
um, and she's very spiritual and very caring, and so yeah, I related to her in a lot of different ways.
Mhm.
It was that was a good role. That was an amazing role to play.
What's your like in the most recent anime that's been dubbed and released here? What is your what are some of your favorite roles that you've been on? Because I know you were in Demon Slayer and
Like recently.
yeah, like in the last couple of years.
Um, oh, I don't know. What have I done in the last couple of years?
Uh, yeah, Demon Slayer. That was
Oh, yes. Oh God, Demon Slayer. I was so thrilled to be cast in that show as, of course, the mom.
yep.
Um, but then, mom dies. And
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? God, I'm in the show and then she dies. But luckily, she comes back, sort of, right? A
Hmm.
couple of times. So that's good. I got to revisit her character a couple times. I got to play a different character in one episode. They needed, somebody to voice this other character. But yeah, Demon Slayer. That was great. I don't know what else I've been. I mean, recently I played very small parts. I had a small part in God of High School, and I had a small part in Arte. I played
Yep.
Arte's mom, and in God of High School, I played Sai, who's one of the nurses. She's a basic ditzy, she's kind of like this. And Arte's mom was very stern. So those are recent, but they're small roles. I can't remember. Like I said, I do think great. Oh my God, that was so much fun. Now I got to do this. I got to focus on this.
Yep. Are because I know with the Demon Slayer movie are you guys still is that still being worked on being dubbed or is that over now? Because I was just talking to Steve.
Um, I did you talk to Steve Staley?
Yeah,
What did he tell you?
they said it was almost done, but yeah, there was just a little bit more to go. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I just I had my last session
Okay.
a few weeks ago.
Was that really fun to be directed by him?
Yes. Oh my God. I love Stu Staley. We were in a theater company together. We
Oh,
did, we were in Godspell together.
yeah, yeah.
That was really fun. Yeah. So it was great because we were in theater together. And then I didn't know he was also doing voices. I really didn't know. And
Oh,
then at one point I'm like, hey, oh my God, Steve. So that was great because that doesn't really happen very often.
yeah. Oh,
The
so you,
worlds don't cross over.
oh, well, because I know that even, because he was one of the main characters in Ray Earth, and he was kind of a main character in Kenshin, but did you guys not see each other back then?
No, no,
Oh,
no. And
okay.
here's the thing. Yeah, no, when you're recording anime, you don't see anybody else. You
Right,
go in, do your lines, you're directed, you director, engineer, you. That's it. If somebody else has already laid down their lines, then you can play off them a little bit easier. But if you're the first one recording the scene, it's just you. It's
right.
just you in there. Yeah, you don't see anybody. So, like I said, when Johnny Young Bosch, when I finally met him, I'm like, it had been years since we had recorded Trigun, and I had never met him.
Hmm.
And if I don't look at the cast list and I don't have any scenes with your character of note, I won't even know you're in it.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
So it's crazy. It's kind of insulated, but that's why I love anime, but original animation can be more fun to
right.
record because all the actors are in the room together. That can be super fun.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, because, yeah, I know one of the other big roles for you that's been going on for a while now is a Miraculous Ladybug.
Oh yes, what a great show. I of course play the teacher, Miss Bustier.
Hmm.
So I don't get to go off on all the adventures with the kids who are, saving the world or whatever. But I did get akumatized in one episode, and I got to be a Zombie Zoo,
Hmm.
which is my favorite episode. But yeah, I play the moms, I play the teachers, and I'm just glad there's a place for me in anime
Right.
or in games. The movie came out recently, Miraculous Ladybug in New York City or whatever, and I was like, oh, great, we'll get to go to New York. Then I go in for my session, and Miss Bustier doesn't get to go to New York, even though she's their teacher, because she finds out she's pregnant, so she has to stay back, and the kids get to go to New York. So I was like, great, thanks. No, but it's a great show. It's a great show to be on.
Right.
And the
And the,
director's Ezra Weiss, who's terrific.
oh,
Love
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, this is just something I've been asking. I asked Steve and I asked Wendy. Do you have any memories of Michael Lindsay?
Of what?
Of Michael Lindsay? Did you know him very well?
I didn't know him at all.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I ever met him one time.
Okay.
I don't think I did. I know that's the other thing too. You might, like, it took me years to meet Johnny. I might work on a show with somebody and never meet them.
Hmm.
You know, it's just one of those weird quirks of anime.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess the last thing I can ask you is, what do you want your, for new fans and old fans, what do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy. Oh gosh, what is my legacy? I don't know. I just hope people enjoy the roles that I do. Whatever they may be, games, anime, original animation, live action dubbing. Nobody really knows my live action dubbing stuff because the people who watch anime and games aren't, I don't think, the same people who watch like dubbed movies
Yeah.
or dubbed live action series. But I don't know, just I love what I do. You got to love what you do, whether it's what you get paid for or what you do on the side. You have to have something that you love that you get to do.
Yep.
What do you love?
Well, I mean, my main hobby is collecting production art, like animation cells and stuff for
Oh,
anime.
nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because you have a good voice. You could do voiceover.
Oh, thank you. I actually, because I'm in Minneapolis. I actually I went to school for that up here, and I took beginning classes, and then I was told like, oh well, you can try to apply for agencies and stuff, but nobody hires like people who are in their 20s.
What?
It's like I don't.
That's silly.
Yeah.
That's dumb advice.
Right.
I know. I asked you, and you said you hadn't been to Anna Minneapolis because me and Tom were there a couple of years ago. But
No, like I think I
no.
saw that you guys were there like after it happened, but yeah.
Oh, oh well. Maybe we'll come back one of these years when the
Was that
pandemic's over.
yeah? Was that the first time that you guys were here for a convention?
Yeah, we had never been there before. It was
Okay.
pretty fun, really fun.
Did a lot of other like LA anime people come with you guys?
No. There were a few other voice actors, I think, but not from LA. I think we were the people from LA. There was like maybe a couple from New York, and then
Okay.
there was like just other things, other cosplayers, and this guy who does game shows,
Yep.
which the people are really into that. And I'm like listening to the questions, going, "Oh my God, I don't know."
Right. And I also wanted to ask you too, would your advice for people who want to get into voiceover be different now than your advice back then? Like,
No,
okay.
no, it would be the same. I would take acting classes first. First and foremost, voice acting is acting. It really is. So you got to take acting classes. After that, you can take singing and improv. All this stuff helps you be creative and extend your vocal range, and then take voiceover classes. They'll help you learn how to break down copy if you're doing commercial stuff, or how to make choices if you're doing animation or whatever else, and mic technique, which sometimes I don't even think about. You're supposed to be this far away from the mic, and don't pop your peas. Don't pop your peas.
Yeah.
Just so much of this stuff. Yeah, study. Even people who are working all the time, if they have time, they'll take a class now and then. I haven't had time lately, but last year I took a couple classes, and it's great.
Yeah.
It's a great refresher. And who's the guy? The guy I took a class with was he was so gung ho. He's like, make bold choices. This character. What does this character want? Why would you read the line that way? What does the character want? The character doesn't want to read the line that way. The character wants something.
Mhm.
It's great. Just
Right.
great. Study.
And would you what would you say for people who only want to voice act in anime?
Well, here's the thing. And Jeff Nimoy used to say this, and I guess it's still true. You go where the work is if you
Yeah.
want to work in anime, which is
Yeah.
LA, Texas, or New York.
Right.
Those are the places. I say that only because most beginning voice actors probably don't have a good home setup for actual session work from home.
Yeah.
And it would cost a lot of money to do that without knowing if this is going to actually happen for you. So if you can go and live in a place and get work and then pursue it there, you probably have a better chance than being somewhere else. Remote work is everywhere now, but unless you're at least somewhat established, you probably won't get that remote work as easily. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So he always says, go where the work is. That's probably still the best advice. If
Right.
if that's your passion and you got to pursue that, LA, Texas, New York, I would say.
And do you think that if you weren't born where you were, would you still have wanted to pursue entertainment, or do you think that you'd be doing something totally
Yeah.
different? Okay.
Probably. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if if I was in elementary school in Indiana and they gave me all the lead parts because I can remember the lines, I probably still would have pursued acting eventually, just
Okay.
because I got used to it and I started to like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably was inclined to pursue that even more than I realized, in the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that.
Well, thanks. This was fun. I'm glad that I got to talk to you because I think I've been a fan since I was like third grade. Yeah.
Wow, far out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll be sure to send you once I get up to YouTube, I'll send you the link and everything.
Yay, far out.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Chris. It was nice talking to you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Stuff.
It was nice meeting you too. I'm sure I'll be talking to a bunch of other of your friends and
Compatriots.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
All right.
actually I actually
Yeah.
think I'm not I haven't really found a way to contact her, but I'm hoping I can interview Melissa.
I don't know if she has a website. I don't know if she has a website.
Yeah, she doesn't have
I
one
really don't.
anymore.
No. Okay. I don't know who her agent is, but you can always like send a letter to her agent and they'll get
Oh,
her the letter and then she can contact you however she wants.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah,
In
thanks.
fact, anybody that you're looking for, going through their agent is probably one of the best ways to do it. Their
Oh,
agent with a website.
okay. Yeah, because I also really wanted to talk to Bridget Hoffman too, but she's not on anything. Like zero.
Bridget. Oh my God. I haven't seen her in years.
Oh, okay.
Years. Yeah. I don't know. She's still around. I think she does SAG Walla, I think now for TV shows and movies.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know where she is.
Yeah.
or
Okay.
who she's with. All right.
Well, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Yeah, you
Stay
too.
healthy. All right. Bye-bye.